Hello, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. I am in the best mood right now because for the longest time, I have wanted to do video format podcasting, but I had always been kind of stumped by it because video is just a little bit more foreign to me and I'm not really good at setting up like the whole studio, and audio was already like kind of its own work in progress for the beginning of this podcast. So we did like a mock one on YouTube and it was fine, whatever. I didn't love the camera. So I set up this cute little studio. We got a better camera, we got a better look to it all, and it is just 10 times more fun. I am literally living my best life right now. So if you're listening on audio, that's totally fun because that's how I listen to podcasts. But if you're interested, you can check out the YouTube because we've got a new setup and I think it's stinking like adorable. Like it's so cute. And it's giving me real podcaster stepping into our podcasting era vibes, and I'm obsessed with it. It is making me feel like a whole professional over here. So living my best life, super excited about this. You guys should check it out on the YouTube. And now that YouTube has handles, you can look at Inspired Lady Podcast and it's there. So how exciting. All right, that's all of that. Let's get into the actual podcast now. So today for my drink, I am just drinking my greens, nothing fancy. I have been trying to do better at getting the vitamins that I need, but I don't always like taking the capsule vitamins. I've been doing a lot of research into what the capsules actually consist of and like the fillers and all of that. Again, so excited because I have someone coming on the podcast soon to talk about this and it's going to be super informative and we're just going to learn all the things. But in the meantime, drinking my greens, and it's a cold drink, but I'm drinking it in a mug and I'm obsessed with that because it makes me feel a little bit like a rebel. I don't know. Something about it, like the clash of cold in a mug. I don't know, making me happy. So that's what I'm drinking today. A couple life updates. It is November, my friends. By the time this podcast is released, it will be November 2nd. And that is blowing my mind right now because I don't even understand what happened to October. I don't even know what I was doing the entire month, honestly. I think it was productive. I think it was a good month. I don't remember a single thing that happened. That's okay though. Anyways, since it's November, I am in desperate need of decorating for Christmas. Christmas is a season, not a holiday. I really believe that. So now that it is officially Christmas season, holiday season, I will be decorating soon. I was given this idea by someone in my DMs and I'm obsessed with this. I said that I wanted to decorate for Christmas, but Matt was not 100% on board yet, being November 2nd. So she said, start like subtly bringing out like the small decor, like change your candles to red and green, maybe put like some of like the wreath looks up. So it's like still greenery, but it's not totally like Christmas. Like you don't need the tree and presents and like nativity scenes going on. I thought that was genius. I'm obsessed with that idea. I'm so excited. So I'm going to start subtly bringing out Christmas decor. And then as soon as, well, let's be honest, I was going to say Thanksgiving hits, like it's going all out Christmas, but it's going to be before that because I can't wait. I'm too excited about this, okay? I'm getting gift guides together on the Amazon storefront for all of your people. Whether you're looking for a significant other, a parent, a sibling, a bestie, whatever it is, I'm coming up with gift guides for everybody, and that's going to be on my Amazon storefront. So I'm so excited about that because shopping for gifts is one of the best part of the holidays. And that's just straight up facts. So we've got that going on. And yeah, I'm really excited. I think all day tomorrow, honestly, I'm just going to be thinking about Christmas decor. I love decorating for Christmas so much. We also have our cold/holiday season essentials episode coming up, which is crazy because I feel like, didn't the fall essentials episode just drop? Like what is happening right now? I'm in shock. That's truly where we're at. So that's my life update, literally. I don't know what happened the entire month of October and I'm ready for the holidays. So this episode that we're doing though, I'm freaking stoked for. We're talking about finding yourself. And what does that even mean? What does that look like? And then I love it because what are we doing? We're doing tangible steps, like literally things that we can go through right now, like as you're listening to this podcast or later today, reflect over tonight, whatever, that will truly help you find yourself. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is so important to me because I think for a very long time, I was so focused on being who other people wanted me to be. And that people pleaser in me, but just really desiring approval from whatever friend group I was in, that I would literally transform my personality based around who I was with. Okay. So there were certain people that I was with that I would be like the sarcastic, snarky, dry personality person. And then I get around a different group and I was the bubbly, shy, sweet girl. And then like literally there were like 40 different personalities that I would just switch through depending on what I thought the person I was with wanted from me. So there's like a ton of psych eval we could do there, but not getting in too far to that, I see that a lot of people do this. I see people switch their personalities or become someone different. And I think the root of that is truly not knowing yourself. And what does it even mean to know ourselves? What does that even look like? I really just want to get into all of this. Before I do, I really love that this is also a faith podcast. So I want to talk a little bit about how being truly ourselves can't happen unless we recognize the fact that we are made in the image of God, and that's called Imago Dei, image of God. And because of that, we have characteristics that we love in our personality that are characteristics of God. That kindness, or maybe it's that self-control, the confidence. There are different characteristics within that God has given us. And sometimes we use those characteristics and we abuse them. Confidence turns into pride, or, we could have a sense of kindness that can really turn into a naivety or something like that. Like those are two very opposing ideas of naivety and pridefulness. But at the same time, those are all characteristics that God has given us that we can twist and abuse in the broken world and that cause who we were created to be harm. Okay. So we were created with a distinct identity, but within the image of God. So because of that, we have to recognize that place we hold in order to truly understand who we are, okay? And I know not everyone's Christian, so it's totally fine. If this is like over your head or you're thinking, you know what, not sure I vibe with that, that's totally okay. But I just really want to put this out there. If you feel like you don't know who you are or where your identity is coming from, that might be because you're not giving the proper response to the one who made you, okay? So many times we can look at our own habits, our own ideas, beliefs, even our own physical characteristics, and we can see that in our parents. But how much more so when we're made in the image of God should we be looking to Him for where our identity should lie? Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there because that is such a massive portion of my own testimony of what I think so many people struggle with. And the answer is you are made in the image of God. So own up to that, seek who He is, and you'll slowly begin to unravel who you were created to be. Because there's a difference of who we force ourselves to be and who we were created to be. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying originally of, man, I didn't know who I was because I was constantly trying to be who people wanted me to be. But who was I? And how in the world do we even find that? So I want to take you through some of the exercises that I did to really try to find who I was and the things that really helped me. I think that when we're on this journey of self-discovery, it is so incredibly important that we are just honest and quiet. Okay, that reflection time is crucial because if we're constantly hearing who other people are or what other people are doing or what other people want from us, that's going to really impact the way that we see ourselves and the identity we place on ourselves. So you already have that happening. You have this bias that you cannot get past in your head because it's ingrained in you. However, there are things that you can do to better identify and further your own understanding of yourself and who you truly were created to be versus this weight that's been placed on you by outside sources. Okay, I hope you guys are understanding this. This is just like a background, a foundation for the podcast to really grow on. And I hope that this isn't like confusing or too deep or too heavy for you guys. But I also really think like, hey, this is it. And this is the stuff we got to talk about. So let's not shy away from that. Okay. To live our best inspired life, we have to know what we are reaching towards and more importantly, who we are. Okay. So let's get into some of the tangible yet fun exercises, because I think this will just make the whole podcast way, way, way more fun. Okay. I'm going to give you guys examples for me of my answers to some of these questions, but I also really want you guys to think through it for yourself. Don't be like, oh, that's a good answer, or you know what? Oh, that sounds like something I agree with. No, this is for you, and you need to think about these questions individually. Okay, cool. Let's get into this. So, I think that there is a overarching problem that I am seeing with so many people in our whole world, not just young generation, not just women, like literally everyone. And this is the issue of the hobby. Okay, we're starting off strong with this. The hobby. I think that it is kind of pushed on us right now that if we're going to do something, we need to somehow figure out a way to monetize it, or we need to be experts at it. And that is an exhausting thought process. I can't even begin to unravel where that would have started from or how that got to this place, except just with the knowledge that this is not okay. If you think about it, every single time I tried to do a hobby in my past, I tried to figure out a way to create a business with it or to become an expert at it or whatever. I mean, you've got the podcast in the past, you've got social media, you've got literally, like when I was little, I would not bake something unless I could figure out a way to sell it to other people. And yes, that's an entrepreneur mindset, and that's super awesome, and some people are built that way. But the problem is when you're constantly trying to figure out how to utilize your gifts, which is a good thing, but utilize it to either make an income or to become the best at it, you don't have a place of relaxation. You don't have a place of rest. I remember one of my best friends, she loved to paint and draw and everything. And I was constantly like, oh my gosh, you need to sell this. You need to do this full time. You need to go into graphic design. You need to do this, this, this. And I was like so confused why she kept saying, you know, if I do any of this, it won't be an escape for me anymore. And I was like, that doesn't, why do you need an escape? Just, you're so good at this. You're so talented. Use it. And, you know, that's really not necessarily the wisest decision. You have to have something that you can go fall into and rest and escape to when the chaos and the stress of the day-to-day or the rest of your life or whatever you're feeling in that moment begins to creep in on you. And I think it's kind of insane because the hobby options are literally endless. Yet I truly struggled to understand what in the world is my hobby. What could that possibly be? Because when you really start to ask yourself, what is my hobby? What do I do to relax, unwind, have fun? You really start to look at where your time is spent. And I do not think that scrolling on social media, watching YouTube videos, or whatever can be viewed as a hobby. I don't know, maybe that's because I work on social media and I can't detach that. But I also feel like your hobby has to be for you, and social media, I mean, it's in the name, is social. So you have to find something that is strictly for you or someone that you're in person with, just something that is refueling to your soul. And I don't think anyone has ever said, wow, I scrolled on social media for 3 hours and I just feel so restored. I don't know why. I don't. But no, I've never heard that phrase before. So what are some hobbies that we can talk about? First of all, I think reading is a great hobby because there are obviously a bajillion different options. You can read self-help books, you can read fantasy, you can read leadership, you can read novels, romantic books, whatever that looks like for you, and you can change it constantly. I was in my thriller phase this summer. I was reading nonstop thriller after thriller. Right now I'm in this like fantasy phase where I'm reading like fairy tales, and that's okay. I'm just living my best life over here, and I'm able to change reading up enough and, you know, immerse myself in new stories, learn new things, whatever that looks like, that my hobby never seems boring to me, because that's something big to me is I don't want to get bored with my hobby. So I want to have enough in rotation that I am going to enjoy whatever I'm doing, but not to the point where I'm going to get bored and burnt out from whatever I'm doing. Okay. So reading is a really great one. Something that I have also been really loving lately is coloring. I have been loving these Sharpie S Note duos. They're kind of like midliners, except they're by Sharpie. And I will literally just sit there and color and take out coloring pages. Coloring pages that are adults are so much more fun because they're so freaking detailed. It'll take me like a whole week to get through one sheet because there's just so many details, so many lines, and I love it. I have one that's cityscapes, so it's a bunch of different cities from all over the country and actually probably the world. And it's so fun. It's so fun to fill that in, and it's relaxing, and I love it. I think coloring is a really great option. However, I can't do that for long. There's a few things that you can also do that consist of learning new skills that before have felt draining to me, because learning new skills, I instantly want to be amazing at it. So I had to shift my mindset a little bit. Some of these skills include crocheting. I literally went to the dollar store and got the dollar store crochet hooks and dollar store yarn. It's in their craft section. So this whole thing cost me $2. And I was able to start this new hobby. And it was fun. I made a ugly little half kind of scarf, but it's not long enough because I really didn't know what I was doing. But I learned how to crochet, and I just watched some YouTube videos and picked up. And then by the time I had it, I was cruising on this thing. I was doing so good. So now I have this new skill, and I know that it's another hobby I can go back to maybe this winter. Crocheting and having my fireplace going. That sounds amazing. Some Christmas music. That's a great hobby because I'm not trying to sell the scarves. I'm not trying to sell the hats. I'm not advanced enough for hats. I shouldn't even kid myself. Maybe someday, but whatever. Anyways, that's a really good one. Puzzles have been amazing. And something else that I've been loving is baking and cooking in general. I tried HelloFresh, just a little bit of tangent. I tried HelloFresh for the first time because we had a really great coupon. I was like, this is groceries for a week for $20. I love it. And I was so obsessed with it. Everything came like pre-packaged or sized out, or the whole vegetable, and I had to like chop up the veggie, and the instructions were super clear, and I had this whole meal. The meals took me like 30 minutes to make each. Oh my gosh, I was living my best life. I was having so much fun cooking, and I realized, no, I'm not going to continue with a HelloFresh subscription and spend $180 each week, but I am going to start taking cooking more seriously because I had so much fun with that. And that's a hobby that actually benefits me in a really big way. So cooking and baking and learning new recipes has been so fun. Grocery shopping stresses the heck out of me. So making grocery lists is probably the most terrifying thing to ever happen. I hate grocery shopping with everything in me. Carts are coming at you. You might forget things. If your list is not perfect, oh my gosh, I hate grocery shopping. I like Trader Joe's, but I hate grocery shopping. Anywho, I need to get better at that to make that hobby less stressful, but that's something that I can always come back to. And I don't know, it's fun. It's super fun. And yoga has been a great hobby too. Just relaxing and stretching. I don't actually do any of the poses. I call it yoga. I don't know if you can really call it yoga, but I literally just stretch and breathe and work on all that. Sometimes I'll do one of those fit on episodes. Or like little workouts on the Fit On app. It's completely free and they have so many workouts, and I love that whole thing. And sometimes I'll just do a yoga stretch out, and that's a hobby to me because I'm not trying to gain anything from it. It's decluttering my mind. I don't know, guys. I feel like hobbies are essential. So if you want to find yourself, you need to find something that you enjoy doing just for you. There is no hidden agenda. There is no money involved. There is no anything. This is something that you do for yourself. Okay? And I gave you some great examples. And if one of those clicked, that's great. But really sit down and think, what is my hobby? That's a hard question to answer. Way harder than I expected. Okay, moving on from hobbies, because that was way too long. I'm calling this next segment finding your faves, okay? And what I mean by this is I love to adjust my favorites. I love changing my favorite colors, my overall favorite song, my favorite food. I think it's impossible for me to pick those things. When people say, what's your favorite food? I'm like, in which category? You know, so I don't mean what's your favorite color, what's your favorite drink, all of that, because that is something that can adjust, go with the flow, whatever you're feeling at that time. That's not what I'm saying when I say find your faves. What I really mean is find the things that make you feel like yourself, like who you are. And you're going to feel it because it's going to feel like a piece in you. It's going to click. When you find something that is a part of who you're created to be, or something that makes you feel even further along in your journey of finding yourself, it's going to click, and it's going to feel like this piece of just like a breath of fresh air. You're not going to feel like jittery or nervous or anything like that. It's a breath of fresh air, and you just feel refueled by it. Okay. So what do I mean by this? Let's talk about some of the faves that you can find. Finding your fave style. Okay. And when I say style, this is the way that you dress yourself. There are so many good resources for this, which I have just recently come into. There was a TikTok going around that was viral for a long time, and it was talking about how you need to have 3 words to describe yourself. And these 3 words are then going to be what you seek when you're shopping for new clothes or going to put something on your body or something like that. Okay. And let me get a little bit more nitty gritty about this. So basically, you are going to be drawn to things when they're fun, pretty, all of that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's meant for you. And I think this is why so many people have these closets that are massive and you feel like you constantly don't have something to wear, is because you're not putting the right things that make you feel that breath of fresh air, that rejuvenation. And this even goes into things like your clothing and your accessories, okay? So you're supposed to pick 3 words that describe you. So I, for myself, picked neutral, casual, and what was my 3rd word? I can't even think of it right now. Modern. That's it. Okay. Those are the 3 words that I think really describe my personal sense of style. And again, I can adjust this whenever the heck I feel like it. But right now, when I put on a neutral outfit, or I am in a neutral space even, I think that this can go for your home and the way you decorate and things like that. Whenever I'm in a neutral, modern, and calming space that's very comfortable, casual, I just feel at peace. I feel like myself, okay? And I'm sure you can see that on both the Inspired Lady podcast Instagram and my own Instagram. The neutral tones, the relaxed tones of it all, that is what I am drawn to, and that's what makes me click. Now, some people are super drawn to color. Now, when I see the color of like the brightness of a beach girl Instagram, I love it. I am drawn to that. I like that. However, I have enough awareness to know that I can like something without it being mine or without needing to apply it to my life. Same thing happens every single time I go shopping or I'm looking at something online, is I'll look at something and say, wow, do I like this? Or can I apply this to who I am? Okay. And there's a difference, because there are some things that I absolutely love. There's wall art I absolutely love that's red and splattered and so fun. And then I look at it and I'm like, but it's not bringing me peace. And when I'm in my space, I want to feel peace. I want to feel relaxed and feel 100% of the fullness of who I am. Okay. And so those are awesome designs and awesome decor and awesome styles that look so great on other people. But when I put it on, or when I am going to be in the room with that piece, I want to feel 100% like myself and not like I am at odds. So really think about it. What are your 3? Maybe it's bold, athleisure. Maybe it's eclectic, which is like crazy colors and shapes and all of that. Maybe it's some boho vibes, some Western vibes. You got some granola girl going on. I don't know. Outdoorsy. I don't know. You should really think about it, and honestly go to Pinterest and look up style words, and they'll come up with a bunch of options and what feels like you, what connects. And again, the feeling of you is not fearful, anxiety, even jittery butterflies that make you feel excited. Okay. Excitement, I would not even argue, is you. Okay. And maybe you want things that make you feel constantly excited. I need things that make me feel a little bit calmer. Moving on. I think that finding your favorite way to move your body is so important. Not because of the health benefits, because yeah, that's great, but literally being able to know what your body craves is so amazing. And again, this is going to change. There are going to be times where you're like, you know what? I am on my 12-3-30 treadmill girl walking era, and walks are just where it's at for me. That's amazing. That's where I'm at. I have been obsessing over a few miles of walking each day. I have been loving the 12-3-30 workout and bringing that back. I did it like 2 years ago and I brought it back and I've just been obsessing over it. Some of my friends are in their weightlifting era and they are killing it, and they are in the gym and they are doing their big weights and their squats and their bench presses, all of the things. Some are in their Pilates. Some are in their specified classes like bar, cycling. Find what your body is just like loving currently. Maybe it's just yoga all the time, but really find the way that you are able to move and it feels good, because that is going to be a huge way that you can help find yourself, because that movement is crucial. I also think it can be good to know what kind of foods, not that your tongue appreciates, but truly that your body appreciates, okay? I have been needing greens lately, and that's why I'm like drinking my green juice. That's why I've been doing a lot more smoothies, is I have been just craving that. I can tell my body is appreciative when I'm putting greens in it, and also protein. Those are two things right now. For some people, they need more fiber, or they need more iodine, or they need more magnesium, so start really playing around with it. Maybe get a blood panel, do whatever you want, and figuring out what your body needs, because finding out what's truly fueling your body is going to help you with that finding of yourself. So now we're on the last section, which I really think is important for when we need to find ourselves, which is finding our goals. It's crucial. I think that direction helps us to not feel so lost. When you're on a path or even just a wide open landscape, if you don't have a clear goal of where you need to go or which way you're headed, you can just keep doing circles and feel so incredibly lost and like you don't even know who you are. So knowing your intentions behind what you're doing is crucial to finding yourself, okay? It is essential that you just have that picture in your head. And even if that picture is something that is super far off, or maybe it's a small goal that you can reach tomorrow, knowing why you're doing something is going to make everything so much easier and make you feel like you know yourself. I was thinking of some really achievable goals that I have had in the past that have helped me really feel like I knew who I was, and just some of them that came to mind that I thought might be tangible for you guys to understand when we're talking about goals. So my first one was that I wanted to travel, and that was super broad. That was a super broad goal. It wasn't something that I could necessarily check off after a day, but it was something that was broad enough that gave me direction, but not necessarily a narrowed path. So what does that mean for me is I knew that I 100% want to travel, which means I needed to save money for it. I knew I wanted to plan it out. I was going to get to experience all these different things. This was like a really great goal for me. And that led to me being able to backpack through Europe. And I literally did, oh gosh, I think it was 10 countries, 14 days with Matt. It was so fun. We did that this summer. Later this year, we're going to Israel for a couple of days. And then later on, we're going through Canada and Alaska in the spring. Both those trips are lined up. So just having those experiences are essential, and they give me goals to work towards, which are so tangible and fun. You can work through that. Another one is quantifying your goals. I think can be helpful too. And this can really help you give direction. I want your quantified goals to stay smaller though. Okay. I don't want you to be like, in 5 years, I want to have $1 million. Like that's a hard goal. And when your goals are that big and that overarching, sometimes they can feel a little bit like you can't reach them. So quantify some small goals, maybe make monthly goals. And that could be read a number of books, lift X amount of weight, learn blank new recipes. These can like tie into your hobbies even, you know what I mean? So that way you just have direction. And this could even be applied for work. Have X amount of followers if you're working on Instagram or anything like that. Or I don't know, just try to quantify that number a little bit, and giving yourself that space to really have easy, tangible steps to take is crucial to knowing who you are and where you're going. Okay. And I want to reiterate here that this is not based on other people. Your goals should not be for other people. Your goals should not be centered around what other people want from you, but really, what do you want? Where are you going? So this is the way I work. I am crazy. Okay. I want you guys to understand that I am crazy. And we're doing a full blown podcast episode on planning and list making. I kid you not. I have that much to say about it. But as far as goals, I set weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals, and then 3 and 5 year goals. I don't go out to 10 just because that's a little bit harder for me to reach. But I literally do that, okay? And it's at the new year that I make my yearly and my 3 and 5, okay? And I look at my past 3 and 5. I see if we're on track for what I was thinking, what has changed, what do I want now, where am I going this year? And then I reset every single month and make sure that my goals are aligned with what I want to accomplish that year and in the next 5 years. So again, that sounds insane, but it keeps me on track. It keeps me knowing who I am, what I'm reaching for, and what I want, knowing what I like to wear, what I like to listen to, what I deem my favorites in that season, and where I'm reaching for, my goals, what I do to unwind. Having all of those clearly determined in my head means that I'm not circling. I'm not in the constant state of not knowing what I'm doing, but rather I know who I am. I know where I'm headed. I know who I am created to be. I know that I'm made in the image of God, and I know that I need to reflect that in my day-to-day life. So I hope this was helpful. Just a few things to help really determine who you are and allow you to go on that journey of finding yourself. And I want to say that as much as these are tangible steps that you can sit down and reflect on and really figure out and journal out, this is a journey. This is something that you're going to be doing for a really long time, of trying to figure out who you are and where you're headed and what's the goal. And allow yourself to adapt, evolve, change, update these things. Don't set a strict list here of this is what I like and this is what I don't like and this is where I'm going, this is what I don't want to do, and this is what I'll do to unwind, because that list is limiting and it's not strategic, and it's going to hold you back, because as you continue to grow and evolve, those things are going to cultivate and change with you. Allow that change, embrace that change, but in the meantime, still start yourself on a path moving forward. So anyways, I hope this was helpful. I hope that you guys really feel like you are able to glean some information, find yourself here, and yeah, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day and stay inspired today, okay? Bye.